Today we're going to be looking at staff builds. So those of you who maybe have been looking at our website in the past couple of months, you might have noticed a couple of listings coming up that say staff builds. They're basically, our boss has given us permission to, when we have some downtime, we can grab a rifle in the back and dress it up with whatever accessories that we have in stock. So it's a really cool way to flex our creative juices and basically show you guys some of these completed builds that you can do with the components that we sell at Toronto Airsoft. So this particular one in front of me today comes to us from Dan. We wanted to showcase it, go over his design philosophy when picking out the accessories, and also we wanted to take it a step further and show you guys how to put the actual accessories on in terms of like the hollow sun and the magnifier, the flashlight tape switch, an MLock accessory if those of you have never seen it. Dan's philosophy when he came to making this loadout was he wanted something all-encompassing. Those were his words exactly. Something that he could use here at Siege in a CQB environment, but would also be able to take out on the outdoor fields. It has a very good length here, approximately close to 10 inches, I believe. Yeah, it's just a really, really nice setup. And with the hollow sun and magnifier as well too, in my opinion, also makes this a very good kind of short range, long range platform as well. So again, this is the completed rifle. So with the magic of editing, we're gonna break this all down and we're gonna get into the build right now and show you guys how we put this all together. Right guys, so as promised, here's the gun in its base configuration with all the accessories taken off. It is a G&G SR30 MLock edition. This is part of G&G's advanced airsoft lineup. Knights Armament trademarks here. 300 blackout, if I move the dust cover in through there so you could see it. Pretty rare, I haven't really seen too many trades like that. Ambidextrous bolt release, so that's on this side. Actually, shouldn't have clicked it back in there. And that's on the other side there, bolt release. Here's the magazine release, that is ambidextrous as well on both sides. And ambidextrous fire selector on both sides. And then for right-handed shooters, they even took it a step further. They made this one low profile, so you just basically won't snag it while you're up here. This does have a programmable MOSFET, where you can program the full auto to 3-round burst. And we were able to do it basically on the fly. It's basically just holding down the trigger while it's in semi and waiting for the beep. Very cool as well too. No magazine inside the gun, it will not fire, even if you put it on semi. And then to take that a step further with the G&G magazines, if the magazine is in the gun, but there are no rounds, so it's an empty magazine, it will also not fire as well too. So really nice kind of realistic touches that it has through there. I believe it's a 90-round magazine that it comes with stock QD points right in through here as well, and then just a normal kind of crane stock. And we'll talk about the hop-up as well too. If we pull back in through here, rotary style hop-up. So let's get into the first accessory that we'll put on. So the tracer unit, very, very cool. This is from Ace Tech. We've been carrying a lot of their tracer units, and this is the Predator Mark II. You're looking at it, you're like, this is the tracer unit? Yeah, absolutely. It has a brighter C included inside, and it's really, really cool. Comes with a different, basically, muzzle brake that you'll need to install because it's not compatible with the G&G one. That's a little bit too big. So that goes inside through there. And then the really cool thing, if you screw off the top, so this little end cap here comes off, then you can slide out the little sheath, and then, oh, pops. This is the tracer. So really, really cool. Ace Tech Brighter C. And then there's a little cap on here, and this is where you would actually, again, they're tiny, tiny threads. It actually has a little speaker, so we'll also indicate that it turns on. It's like kind of motion activated, so when you pick it up, and same thing, when you're charging this, it'll flash like yellow, and then when it's charged, it'll flash green. So yeah, really cool. And it also comes in the box with an adapter, so you could use this directly on the pistol or the rifle as well. So really cool. In the past, people were basically modifying these kind of mock suppressors to have tracer units inside. So Ace Tech just kind of jumped on board and said, hey, you know, let's do it in an all-in-one package. So really important thing here, just to show, because these threads are so small, really do take your time so you don't cross thread them. Because if you were able to cross thread them, you could basically destroy these threads when they're that tiny. So that what I do is I just go front to back, and again, no tension. And you can hear how tight these are. These are really squeaky threads. When you put it in as well too, there are threads for the actual tracer on one side. So I put that side down. So towards the back end through here. So that's in through there. Slide on the sleeve again. This is basically a heat shield on the real one. And it just slides in. All right, so that's the unit there. So really, really cool, all in one. And like I said, you have lots of different options and things like that. And arguably the Brighter C is probably the smallest tracer unit. Even though this is huge, the tracer unit itself is probably the smallest one that we have. So going into the install, this will be pretty straightforward. We will need a couple tools. So I'm just gonna reach back here and grab my multi-tool. And I have a few little bits right in through here. A piece of advice whenever installing furniture and stuff like that, just take your time. Nothing you should be using like a heavy excessive force in terms of muscling something or really pushing or really pulling on something with your body weight. That's a good way to break something, and usually there's a reason why it's not moving and stuff like that. So specifically when taking a look at the muzzle brake here, these particular ones on this model, they're not glued on or anything like that. However, on the bottom here, there is an actual grub screw, and I'll just take it out in through here. And just to show, so in is the grub screw right in through there. So again, if I didn't address that grub screw and I start to try to take that off, it's an easy way to basically destroy all the threads that are underneath in the outer barrel there. I have a little multi-tool set here. So I have a bunch of little Allen keys, and I believe this one is 2mm. Through there, and again, to be on the safe side, remove the entire grub screw, because even if you think you might have removed it, if you don't remove it entirely, you could still destroy the threads there. So just going to really carefully place the grub screw with it there. All right, and you can see it there. So, and I just wanted to highlight here, you can kind of see again those threads. Somebody tried to adjust it a little bit with the grub screw already in, and that's why you're getting that silver line there. The little circle is basically, you will always get that, and you will have to tighten down the muzzle brake because you have the large MLock suppressor with the tracer unit hanging on there. So you will get the little imprint, but you definitely don't want to have the grub screw engaged when you take this on or off, because then it could strip away all your threads as you're basically taking it off. To not lose the grub screw as well, just put it back in the original. So now there's no flash hider there. So taking a look at the, again, the Ace Tech Predator Mark II, we have the flash hider inside. Place that down for a moment. And again, this has that little grub screw as well. This one is 1mm. As opposed to the 2mm that was on the G&G. So I'm just going to take that out there. There it is. Now I'm just going to lay it down carefully on the table and going to install. It doesn't matter which way the flash hider ends up. There's no kind of like top to bottom. The MLock suppressor will attach on every way. All right, and then just holding it here. I'm going to tighten this not too tight, but I want to have it nice and snug to support the weight of that. Right there, nice and snug. Then it has the little QD on through there. There we go. Yeah, just make sure that it goes all the way the collar in through the back, and it is attached on through there. Really cool, really slick. Now that we have the tracer unit, we'll just continue moving on back and we'll install the flashlight, because we'll take a look at where we're going to set up that tape switch as well through there. So before we get into it, we basically have two elements to our light. We have our Wasden M640C Scout Light Pro clone. It's a Surefire clone. We'll open up the flashlight and show you all the components. We have the light itself. I believe it comes with the tape switch back already installed, but if not, it would be included as well. This is just the push button if you were doing it through manually. So we need that little tail cap end in through there. We need the pressure switch, which it came with. And then because we have an MLock rail, we also need the little MLock piece that is going to go there. That's basically going to allow us to attach the flashlight onto the rail system, which is in through here. And then there is also a screw for that. Other things, you get a little piece of, looks like Velcro. If you wanted, I guess, a DIY approach, you would put Velcro here to attach onto a different area of the gun. And really nice, you have this little Picatinny piece as well that has Surefire trades. If you didn't have an MLock, you can put this basically like on the top through here. And then the last piece is the Cloud Defense, basically tape switch holder. Has really nice trademarks on it. And then just holding it here, what makes it really cool is these little channels on the side are basically the right width for the wire. So as I install it, you'll be able to see I can pick where the wire comes in for the tape switch. So you have some cable management built into the actual holder itself. So really, really nice unit. I'm really glad we started carrying these. It pairs perfectly with the Surefire products, and it's sized correctly for the tape switch as well here. So the first thing is figuring out, okay, where do you want your light? Typically, I like to run my flashlight as far up in the front as possible. The more I can kind of clear the muzzle brake, and in this case, we have to remember, we also have the large MLock suppressor. You don't want to have the flashlight, for example, if I had the flashlight back here, this would cast a huge shadow. So basically, in terms of anything that's going on this side, I wouldn't be able to basically see. So I want to try to get this as far forward as possible, so that way the MLock suppressor is not blocking it. And again, with this rail system, we're able to do that. Also, because I'm a right-handed shooter, this is the other consideration as well too. I'm a right-handed shooter, so I'm aiming down this way. I don't want to put the flashlight on this side. So on, the left side of the rifle, I basically want it on the other side there. So I am going to mount it on what would be the right side in through here. So again, it's just like clear line of sight. Nothing's in front there, nothing's basically in my way or blocking my field of view. So just little considerations. But again, the really cool thing is you can pick and move. If it ends up that you don't like it there, you can simply move it and stuff like that. The MLock is a really fast solution for being able to do that. So putting the rifle back on the little holder here. So we'll start with the first thing, which is basically getting the MLock adapter connected to the Surefire in through here. So there's pretty much only one way that you would be able to put it on. So it's basically goes in through this fashion here. And you'll see with the nut basically goes in through this way. You wouldn't be able to put it in through this side because there's a little retainer hole in through there. So it kind of gives you already the orientation on how to install this. So if I put it in through there, that's basically where it's going to start to ratchet as it kind of moves around. So put that down in there, through here. So it's starting to tighten up in through there. big like flathead piece. So something just large like that can just basically fit right in through there. And again, this is a perfect example of just taking my time because the multi-tool is right beside the flashlight. If I were to do this fast, I could totally scratch the flashlight in 2 seconds. And now, there we go. You have your adjustments, and it's really cool. So as you adjust, when you move it to this side, it's extremely loose. Then to lock it in, you basically just have to apply a little bit of counter pressure in the other direction, and it locks in there. And again, if you find that it's starting to adjust on you, you would just tighten that little screw right in through there. And as I said, I want to have it in the forwardmost position to try to clear as much of that muzzle brake as possible. All right, so with the MLock, you do want to make sure that it's a little bit engaged in terms of the nuts here. So you can see the screws are coming through a little bit. So that way when you're tightening, they'll have a chance to catch on the inside. So that's how you're able to basically tighten it from the outside, which was different than the MOE system that Magpul had, where you had to tighten it from the inside. So again, I want to make sure that it's super far forward. I'm going to position the little tabs in the same orientation here as the MLock, so horizontal, right in through there. And then I'm going to use this area and just kind of turn there a little bit so you can follow along. Use the smaller 2.5. There we go. So, and you'll know it's successful when you've actually like catched like the screw on through there. So basically, there we go. Oh. So what happened there, it actually wasn't completely flat, so it was catching a little bit on an angle. So again, that's why I was just using finger tightness. As I tightened it a little bit, it actually pushed the rail into the right position. So and here I have to tighten the front a little bit because the rear moved a little bit. And so right on there. Again, I just want to highlight this if you've never used a modular system, like why these things are so freaking amazing. Look at that low profile that you have there in terms of the mount. So it can be like, you know, I mean, I can't put my hand here because the flashlight is there, but it's so smooth. Like there's no Picatinny piece. There's nothing sticking out. So the modularity and the slim mounts that are capable with these new, I guess, next generation modular systems with the MLock, it's simply amazing. I love these systems. They're just like, they're so good, the evolution of them. So this flashlight is pretty much in the perfect position here. So that's exactly where I wanted it. Again, because I'm a right-handed shooter, I wanted it a clear sight line on the left side of the rifle here. So I have it there. So the next thing that we need to address is the tape switch. So Dan decided to keep the iron sights on. You do have the option of removing the iron sights. So that would allow you to put the tape switch even further forward, which is what I would do, but I'm keeping the configuration that Dan had. So he actually put the cloud defense unit right basically back around here. So from here, you're gonna have the wire coming out, and we'll see how I'm able to basically put it through with the different channels, and you can use the different channels here, the cable management system, to basically get the actual tape switch here. So the tape switch literally slides right in, okay? And because again, I'm mounting it with the iron sight, I want the little, basically the end here to basically be facing me. So that way I can get it as close to the flip up front sight as possible. And then for cable management, the line coming through here, and I believe this is how Dan originally had it. So mocking it up in terms of there. So again, take your time when you're doing it and just kind of figuring everything out from there. So I'm gonna remove the little cap. First thing I'm gonna do is position the rail and then figure out the cable management system. So what I'm gonna do with this, I'm actually gonna kind of keep pressure It's just the screws that hold it in place. So when I remove the entire screw, so I am squeezing out, or I am pinching, we'll be able to relatively keep everything together with both screws off. All right. So I'm going to remove just one side here and just positioning so we can basically see how far forward we can go. So I can't get to this little hole right up in front here. It's actually going to hit the front sight. So that's pretty much as far forward as I can go. So, and then once I have that, really quick, usually typically the side that has an angle cut is the side that goes on the Picatinny rail. This larger hole is for the cable management. So we're going to just basically put this in. There we go. It's holding a little bit, so I'm just going to leave it with that one screw. That's fine for now. So with that in place, I can actually start doing the tape switch. So I'm sliding it forward. Even though this came off, it didn't actually slide forward. So that's perfect for there. And again, I just have to be careful here. So to get the cable to go in for the cable management, I'm just going to throw the whole thing over the front. That hopefully is wide enough. Perfect. So again, just take your time with this because it is metal. And here, again, if I pinch and just to show, you can slide it. You can see the switch. So that's perfect. That to me says there's nothing that's actually catching it that's going to slice or anything of that nature. So I already have one screw in. I actually want to put in the second one again, just to make sure it's not going to interfere with anything with the cable. And again, just taking my time. Okay, that's perfect. So that definitely caught on through there. I'm just actually going to take it a little bit further in. I don't want to tighten it all the way yet because I'm not committed 100% because I haven't finished all the routing of my cable. Tape switch is in. That's in the channel there. So, and I don't want the wire, can move the mount through there. I don't want the wire kind of folding out through the top. I want a more clean look. So I'm bringing it down through here and then putting it right in. So right in through here, it attaches. And then I can rotate that cap a little bit just to get that waterproof cap. So you can see how clean that looks right in through there. So that's pretty much it. You know, got the flashlight working with the tape switch. I can move the light out of the way. Now I'm going to finish up. Always remember the last thing you do is tightening. Also, if you wanted to change and wanted the light a little bit further down the side, you could do it like that. And you can see, so you have different, right? If I like to do left-handed shooting a lot too, I'd probably want it in this configuration so it's not blocking so close to the front sight. Okay guys, so moving further back now that we've installed the tracer unit and flashlight, let's take a look at the optics group. So we have the Holosun 3x magnifier. Put that right on top there. And then the Holosun HS403B red dot. I'm really excited that we've been carrying these now at Siege for a while. These are very well-priced, real firearms optics. Just basically the firearms community has loved them. When you take a look at airsoft, these are expensive, so they become kind of the high end, but again, these are real firearms optics. You can put these on an actual rifle. If this shot 300 blackout, this would be able to handle the recoil. The airsoft clones don't. They don't hold zero, or they can even be destroyed in the process and stuff like that. So, and also this magnifier, it's again a real firearms magnifier. So the cost combo of these is almost approaching probably the value of the G&G rifle. But again, this is a real firearms optic. If you decide to go into real firearms in the future, you can just take this and use it there. So yeah, they're incredible in terms of the features. This one has, again, the push buttons that I love. You get the slimmer housing profile because you don't have that huge battery hanging off the side. It's a 2 MOA dot. Really nice and clear optics, all the different features there. And again, because this is Holosun and it's for real firearms, these will co-witness together, perfectly. As long as your rail system is completely fine, you won't have any issues, and you have full adjustments. And the magnifier as well comes with a quick release mount. So if you were playing in full CQB here at Siege, you could just pop this off quickly and not have it in a CQB environment. But truth be told, even compared to the clone magnifiers, this is actually a really nice weight. I find the airsoft clone magnifiers, they don't function all that great in terms of clarity of optic, and there's a lot of glass in them. They're super heavy. So Holosun did a really, really good job here. I loved using the two of them together for sure. So going into the actual install, I would do things actually a little bit in reverse than normal. So most people would normally probably put the red dot on and then put on the magnifier. Because I want to know where my eye relief is going to be, with this magnifier, you actually have to get up really pretty close. I have it kind of already set to the eye relief. So you could see kind of in through there, like how close I actually have to get. And it's basically clear in through there. So I want to get this again because Dan decided to keep the stock, bring the gun closer here, the stock iron sights. I want to bring this, as much as I wanted the switch for the tape switch to be close to the front, I want this to be as close to the rear as possible. So I get the best eye relief with the stock and everything like that, nice up and close. So again, super simple, because this has a quick attach. You just have to make sure it has the right tension in through the opposite side here. So you want to make sure that this is in the unlocked setting here. There we go. So that is there. And you could do a little test. So the whole gun shakes on the actual little magwell holder. I'm just going to hold in through here. And yeah, that's not going anywhere. And really cool, has just the flip to the side. So it just has a little bit like a ball D-dent, similar to, I guess, a knife in terms of how it will open and close in through there. So now I got it, again, as far back for the eye relief. So on the opposite side, now I can see where to install the red dot. And basically I want the red dot as close to the magnifier as possible. So grabbing the optic in through here, the optic doesn't have a quick mount, but it's the same thing. So it's just right in through there, the actual screw. I'm actually going to remove the entire screw because it's just a little bit left there, and that'll allow me to basically, I can slide this to almost any position. So what I'm doing right now through the back here, I'm just using my eye. I'm looking through the hole and seeing when I get in between, basically in between a Picatinny slot. So if I move back here, yeah, I'm close. I actually hit the magnifier. I have no spot. So this right here, this is the closest that I can get to the magnifier. I can see through here, and then getting this guy back on. It's basically the flat side is the side always on the outside, and this edge, actually I had it upside down, that's the edge that bites onto the rail in through there. And you can kind of see too with Holosun, it has the shape there. The little hump on the top matches in through here. So holding that there, you can only put the screw in one way because this is flat through here, and the other side has the recess. This is just important to show as well. So the screw will come in this way. I just want to make sure that it's completely tight. So again, this was the closest Picatinny rail in through there. So, and then the last thing, I can actually use the stand here. Awesome. So I can see the dot, and then I have the little ring here. And I'm just focusing on to that background. It's actually probably a little too close. That's why I'm not able to get it in focus. But the eye relief is perfect right in here. So again, when I use the magnifier, technically I close my left eye. I'm right eye dominant. So because I'm using it as a long range optic, that's how I'm able to keep the focus. But again, really cool. If I wanted to go CQB, I flip like that and I have both eyes open. And again, this is set up for a right-handed shooter. So you see, much like the flashlight, it's moving out to the opposite side. So even through here, if I'm, just, again, I'm not looking down through the red dot, but I'm looking forward, trying to see what's over. I don't have this huge piece of tube or equipment there. It'd be much different here if I'm left-handed. So I'm left-handed, and I'm not looking down the red dot, but I'm keeping my eye here. This is huge. Like, I can see this big blurry cylinder in my peripheral vision down low. So, it's not the end of the world, but it would be great if there's nothing there. So definitely more for a right-handed shooter. But again, a quick release. So just to show, like this, and the latch is on this side. So I push, release, that's it. Comes right off. So this is how I would actually play here at Siege. And again, I have it disengaged, a bit further forward through there, snap and attach. That's how quickly everything is there, and then I can go through. It's awesome. All right, so our build is coming together quite nicely. So the last two things that we need to install is the little gas pedal or hand brake hand stop on the bottom, and also the RSA sling mount that Dan had installed at the top here. He didn't want to use any of the QD points, so he has the little RSA in through there. So we'll start with the again, gas pedal, hand stop, finger stop, lots of different names through there. I'm really starting to like these because, again, they're super minimalist. I love these MLock rails and how they feel. They're super smooth in hand. So just having something like this, again, something small, out of the way, but you're able to put a little bit of pressure. So the reason these exist in the real firearms world is to mitigate recoil. So typically you'll have the gun in your shoulder here, but if you weren't applying any kind of forward pressure, again, recoil can kind of take the gun and jerk it in a whole bunch of different ways. So by having something like the little gas pedal there at the front, something that you can hook and basically apply pressure, I'm exaggerating, but I'm bringing the gun into my shoulder. So I'm bringing the gun in, and kind of also with my grip pushing the gun forward. You're kind of locking it between these two forces from the front and the back, your shoulder, your hand in the pistol grip, and then your hand as well at the front there. That's all to basically mitigate recoil. Not an issue for an AEG, but just to know in through there. The reason also too I wanted to do the install of the gas pedal after installing the light is basically I wanted to see where the tape switch ends up, because basically my thumb has to be here in order to engage. So wherever these with these little gas pedals, typically you want to engage it with your first, maybe your second finger. You could do it with your third finger, but I usually don't see a lot of shooters do that, or airsoft players do that. They hook with the front, like the index or the middle finger. I just find maybe it's probably a little bit too much with the third. So basically in and around here is where I'd want to have it to be able to hit the tape switch at the top. If I'm too far forward, right in through here, where I actually put my thumb is right on top of the front flip up sight. So that's actually too far forward, so I want to go back a little bit. Again, if this was my gun, not saying anything to Dan, I would remove the iron sight, put the whole tape switch forward, so that way I could be as far forward as possible on the rifle. But again, you have options, right? That's the awesome thing. So removing the gun here, I'm gonna move the stand out of the way. So flipping around, we'll see we basically have a couple of slots here, and it's gonna basically fit the same size of the gas pedal. So this is, if these were larger slots, I would have a bit more room to kind of move around. So it's pretty much like it's either, to the front here or to the back there. So I'm actually, again, if I grab, because I just want to make sure, right? Like they like to say, measure twice, cut once from the carpentry world. Can do the same thing here. So again, if I just have a natural grip and I'm coming here and holding, yeah, I'm actually thinking I'm going to put it right in the back here because again, it attaches in through the slot. This is a little too far forward. This to me will feel just right for my middle finger to hook onto it. So I'll show you guys what that looks like here in a moment. I'm just going to set it down. You want to make sure that the screw is coming through the top a little bit there for the actual MLock, and then that it's actually horizontal to be, or in this case, again, flush with the slot to be able to go in through there. So I'm just going to push this in just a little bit, and you can see the screw starting to come in through there, which is perfect. Just want that engagement a little bit there. So, and again, this installs with the rough face forward because I'm hooking into that. And again, I said I want it in the third slot. So there we go. So, and you can check. I'm going to bring the gun up slowly. And I'm holding on to it because I haven't tightened it, but that's pretty much the perfect spot here. And again, because it's MLock, it's super easy. Just tighten in through there. Yeah, it's perfect. So as soon as I go in through here, my thumb is exactly there. And that's what you want to do. As soon as I go left-handed or right-handed, my hand is always in the perfect place. So I just go hook there and then wrap my hand around. And it ends up going right on top of the switch. It's exactly what you want. Okay, so again, last, I always like to double check after I've done a little bit, make sure it's tightened all the way down. So the last thing that we have to do in terms of the build here is install the RSA, which is super simple. So these have been around forever from Magpul, and again, just Picatinny with the little nut or the screw that basically goes through, and that's what basically captures it in through here. With this one, again, I want to get us kind of close to the red dot as possible, but not too close because I don't want it to snag with the sling. Another consideration as well too, if you're right-handed or left-handed, where these QD mounts should go. Again, I'm a right-handed shooter, so the QD point is gonna stick off the left hand here of the gun because basically I would thread it through the back of the stock through here and across through the front. If you wanted to install this in another area, you could do with like a Picatinny segment and then get it on, install it through there. But again, following Dan, it's right in through the top here. So, and again, because this style goes all the way through, you have to remove it. And I'm basically going to use this one here just to kind of see. And again, super simple, just attaches on through there. Going to get the screw, pinching, keeping it together. And really carefully, again, I let go of my pressure a little bit. You don't want to hold this too tight because if you do and you push the screw through, it'll scratch in the Picatinny rail like excessively. You're probably going to get it a little bit anyways, but again, you want to try to avoid that as much as possible. And I'm applying a little bit of pressure here. And again, with this, you do want to make sure that this is snug, especially if you are using it with a sling, because that's the last thing you want, right? You have your sling here, it's on your back, and all of a sudden it just comes flying out because you didn't attach it. There you have it. Dan's staff build right now. So hopefully you guys were able to see how, you know, straightforward it was. There was nothing too crazy. Other things to consider as well too, Dan was telling me you could mount this gas pedal actually even more forward, so that way if you were playing a milsim, you don't have your hand on top of the tape switch all the time. Because I could see in that case, you're not going to be constantly like on the actual needing to use the flashlight all the time. So if you were further forward, that would be actually great. And then you need to use the light, you would move your thumb back. Now that we have Dan's build all together here, let's take it out onto the range and see how it's zeroed and through the little course of fire that we set up. What we have here, guys, is the little course of fire, and we have some near targets, the Texas Star that we're going to shoot with, and then a little bit further we have those 3 little popper targets, and this will allow me specifically to showcase the red dot and the magnifier combo on the hollow sun. Again, not the best. This can go a little bit further than the range here as a 3 times, but at least a little idea through there. Three-round burst. All right, 3-round burst. And there you go, guys. We have completed Dan's staff pick build here. I really love the modularity in all the different pieces. You can move things around to match whatever scenarios that you wanted to do. And it's all really quick. I love MLock, that modular system, next generation. It is so cool. So as always, if you guys haven't already, we'd love for you to subscribe and hit that notification bell to be alerted for new videos if you want to tag along with our airsoft journey. And as well, if you have any comments, we read them all and they do influence future videos as well. I hope everybody is staying safe and I can't wait to see you all out on the field.